Hey, it's the Midnight Raven, and welcome to another episode of It's Not All Doom and Gloom podcast. If you're new to the podcast, I am the Midnight Raven, and today we are looking at some more of our self-discovery journal quotes slash prompts, which we have been doing for maybe the last year, and we've only done 99. So this is going to be carrying on throughout 2026, apparently, because every day is a new learning day. So today we are looking at another 5 questions. You can like, share, subscribe, and join in. Comment down below with your thoughts, feelings, emotions, or a little story. You can share this out. That would be amazing. And without any further ado, let's get into this podcast episode. So today we are looking at question number 100. We're starting strong. What are your biggest regrets? Now, many of us have regrets through our lives, and it could be something as small or as big. Some regrets can be just, maybe I shouldn't have cheated on that test. It's a thing. Maybe I shouldn't have cheated on my ex. That's a big thing. So regrets can be in different sizes, different forms. Maybe you regret certain things for different reasons. Me, personally, my biggest regrets would be not taking more time for myself. And what I mean by that is I love having a family. Don't get me wrong. I have 3 beautiful children. But I had my children quite young. And I didn't necessarily give myself I wouldn't say a good start in life. I didn't give myself a chance to live life per se. You go straight from school, straight to work, and then I basically went straight to being a parent. I'm not one child, but then 2, and then 5 years later, I was a parent to another child. So it went from one to the other to the other. So my biggest regret would probably be not living life a bit longer and then starting a family. And I think some people have it the opposite way around, where they didn't start a family early and they get to later in life and they wish they had, or vice versa. So my biggest regret would be that I didn't start a family maybe a bit later and waited. But things happen, nature takes its course, and I did have 3 beautiful children, which I do not regret my children. I just regret maybe the timing, and that I wished I'd pushed it back. I did have things I wanted to do when I was younger. I wanted to travel around France. I wanted to go traveling more. But traveling with a child and then another child is not the easiest thing in the world. So one of my biggest regrets would be not pushing having children back. But in hindsight, I do have 3 beautiful children. I have a beautiful life, a beautiful family. And would I change it for the world? No. But I would change the timing of when I had children. And that's not a bad thing. Looking back on things and sometimes being like, if I'd have waited, things would have been slightly different. But would they have been too different? I don't know. Can't answer that question. That's like a catch-22 thing of, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Other big regrets. I don't know if I have many regrets in my life. I don't really regret most things. If I do something, I'm usually like 100% into it because I've chosen to do it. But I would say that would be one of my biggest regrets, was not having children slightly later in life. I'm not talking like 20 years later. I'm talking maybe another 5 or 10 years and had kids in like my mid-20s. But we all have regrets, So I'm not going to judge you if you have any regrets. Put them in the comments and share your regrets. Everybody has regrets. Even now, day to day, you have regrets when you eat that big pizza and then you're like bloated and you're like, oh, I wish I hadn't have eaten it. Or that tub of ice cream you wafted down while watching a movie the other night. See, people have regrets in different forms. Next, question 101. What habits would you like to break? Not being confident in oneself. Now, you may not say that's a bad habit, but believing that lack of confidence in me is a habit I would like to break. Not being confident in oneself, because I have been told repeatedly that I am so confident on the outside. I like exude confidence. I can talk to people, I can handle this, I can handle that. When it really comes to it, it's all internalized. My biggest fear is my confidence. I put on a show, I put on a face, really on the inside, crying, nervous. I'm a wreck. But on the outside, I appear like this. I'm fine. I've got my shit together. Everything's good when it isn't. So a bad habit to break would be not believing in oneself, not being confident in my abilities, not believing that I can do it, although I know I can do it. And I may look on the outside, then I know I can do it and that I'm positive and I've got this. The inside is telling an entirely different story. It's saying that I'm nervous, that I'm worried, that I'm scared. But you never see that, because that's not the side I want you to see. I want you to see that I exude confidence, that I am, I have my shit together. In the inside, entirely different story. My partner will say that I exude confidence. Like, side rant, he loves me wearing dresses. I wear trousers quite a lot when I'm at home. When we go out, I put a dress on. And he'll tell me all the time that I look so confident in this dress and I'm rocking it and I've got this. Inside, I'm actually nervous. I'm worrying about people looking at me. It's an entirely different side inside. But outside, I'm looking like I've got it together. So I'm not exactly hiding oneself. I am protecting oneself, I would call it. Protecting my inner self from the outside world, because people can be cruel and people can be negative. And there is a thing of being too confident and too up oneself, which a lot of people also have a problem with. Being too overconfident is also a negative faux pas as well. So because then you come off arrogant, or you come off as a know-it-all, you come off as just, being this, superficial person. So I don't want to come off as that. Okay, next question. Are we ready, boys and girls? What area of your life have you seen the most progress on this past year? Well, I think you're going to find that pretty obvious that it happens to be my relationships. Not just with my partner, but relationships in general. I have made lots of friends on YouTube. I never considered myself a talkative, interesting person. And I have created a following of nearly 4K on YouTube, which I am so grateful for. It's about 3.7 at the minute. And I have made some amazing friends behind the scene that message me. We talk and everything and share experiences. We share our lives. And I never thought I would have that kind of presence on YouTube. Also, my friendships with all my friends has gotten better. I try and talk more. I try and hang out more. I do still need more friends externally of like YouTube land, like social media, but I do have friends. It's just that I am quite a closed off person. Now, the area of my life that's seen the most progress this year is my relationship with my new partner. We have come on leaps and bounds. We have been dating for nearly 8 months as I am filming this. And as of 2026, we are moving in together. We're taking the big leap of faith. By then, we will have dated for a year. We got together the 29th of January. We would have been together a year in January, and we're going to start looking for a place, and we're going to move in together, and life is so good right now. We're going on holiday in a couple of weeks. I'm staying at his for a trial run of living together for a week. Then we're going on holiday. Then he's going on holiday for a bike trip for his birthday. Going to see the MotoGP final. Then we've got some Christmas activities to do together. And then Christmas will come. And then the new year. And then boom, in January, he's looking for a new job so we can relocate and move and start afresh. The pair of us, and we're so happy together. I can't tell you how unbelievably grateful I am that we found each other. We were both in a very dark place. I was having a rough time. He was having a bit of a rough time. We came together, and it's like Romeo and Juliet. Honestly, I really do feel like he saved me. I was having a rough time in January/December, and I think he saved me. I really do believe that we have come together for amazing reasons, and I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with him and move in and become a proper little family. But yeah, that's probably the area of progress that has been seen the most, would be my personal relationship, which, as you well know, if you've been on this journey with me, I was single for 5 years, and it was not a pretty sight. Not a pretty sight. So, next question. How do you take care of yourself when you feel anxious? So, if I've had a bit of a rough time and I'm feeling anxious or stressed, currently I'm awaiting blood test results where they have found 2 things wrong with my blood. I'm just so lucky it couldn't be one. It's a buy one, get one free. I was really anxious the other day. I had a phone call from my doctor, side story, to say that the blood test I had done recently, because I'd been collapsing quite a lot, had come back nearly perfect, but there were 2 issues on my blood tests. I needed to see a doctor. I instantly panicked, worried. I can't actually get the doctor to tell me what they are over the phone. I have to have another appointment on the 30th where she's going to do it over the phone because the receptionist can't do it. It's a whole grey area. So I've had to wait like another week on top of the 2 weeks I've waited from having the blood tests. So it's a nervous time for me. And the way that I haven't felt anxious is because there's nothing I can do. I can't change those blood tests. Whatever's on there is on there. Can't change it. But what I can do is I can find a way of coping with that. I can put into a little box the worry that I have, because whatever it is, we can sort it. We can handle it. There'll be a way of medicating or changing diet or doing something different. What I also did that day is, after I'd had that phone call, I went for a walk. I took myself outside, out of the situation, went for a walk, went for a stroll, and just had 5 minutes to myself. Went to Greg's, got a drink, got something to eat, sat down, took some time, pondered over it, and realised that no matter what happens, there's nothing I can do to change it while I don't know what it is. So there's no point worrying. Now, I know that sounds easy, and I'm not going to tell people not to worry about stuff, but if there's nothing I can do until I know what it is, why worry about it? There's nothing I can do. I don't know the results. I'm not going to know until I speak to a doctor. There's no point dwelling on it now. Once I know the results, yeah, I can probably dwell on it then, because I'll obviously have to work out what I'm going to change, what's going to go on. Is this going to keep happening? Will I keep collapsing? For anyone that doesn't know, I collapsed 4 times in a week. It was horrendous. I have never felt so bad in all my life. And that's why I went to the doctor. Always go to your doctor. If you are unsure, go to your doctor. I collapsed twice in quick succession. Then there was a gap, and then I collapsed a couple of days later. Not once, but twice again. And then by the Monday, I was like, nah, I'm going to a doctor. And my partner was supportive, came with me. I've had blood tests, and now we are awaiting the results. So as much as I feel anxious and worried, the cure for taking care of myself when feeling anxious is not to worry, because there is effectively nothing I can actually do until I've had the results. So it is pointless worrying. And the last question for today: are you struggling with any addictions? Now, I wouldn't say I'm addicted to anything really. True crime TV, true crime films, true crime movies, serial killers, all that good stuff. Absolutely. I've actually got a true crime magazine right here. True crime, serial killers, murderers, I'm obsessed with. I have so many books and everything. I watch so much TV. I research it all the time. I have a fascination with it. Would I say I'm addicted? No. An addiction, vaping could be an addiction, but I have cut it down as my doctor had asked me to. Maybe energy drinks would be the next one that I have. I do kind of have a couple a week to like get me through the week, because some weeks I am just so tired with my insomnia and stuff. I just need something to perk me up. But I wouldn't necessarily say I'm struggling with any type of addiction. I don't have a drinking problem. I don't really have a smoking problem. I vape, but it's very rare. I've actually lost my vape at the minute, which helps. And I don't really drink. I don't take drugs. I don't do anything like that. I don't really have any addictions per se, unless you count the energy drinks, which is quite bad. Doctor will probably tell me that. But I don't really have any addictions. I think maybe watching true crime stuff is probably an addiction. It is one of the things I watch a lot of. If I want to see something, I'm not watching a romance movie or a comedy movie. I'm watching a horror. I'm watching a serial killer thing. I'm watching a cult thing. I do have a very dark mindset when it comes to TV, movies, and watching stuff, if you want to call that an addiction. I call it more of an interest or a personal hobby. Hence having the magazines to read. Always fascinated about the human psyche, what makes someone a murderer. Are you born a murderer? Are you made a murderer? Does influence help? Does childhood accidents help? Are you a murderer if your dad's a murderer? The likelihood of it going through your genealogy? Stuff like that. So I wouldn't say I'm addicted to anything. Not unless you want to count that. But I think we're all addicted to something in some way. It's just whether we, I guess, believe it's an actual addiction, which is the first step to recovery, is knowing you actually have an addiction. Remember that. So let's go back through the questions for today's podcast. So the first question were, what are your biggest regrets? And I said that it was personally having kids too early. What habits would you like to break? The lack of self-confidence within myself. What area of your life have you seen the most progress? I would say my new relationship. How do you take care of yourself when you're feeling anxious? Just don't worry about it. Go for a walk, go for a bite to eat, run a bubble bath. And are you struggling with any addictions? I would say no to that. Other people might beg to differ. I don't think I have any addictions necessarily. But that is the self-discovery journal for this podcast today. So if you're new to It's Not All Doom and Gloom podcast, remember you can like, share and subscribe. I do try and do these as often as possible. Obviously, we're being ill recently. I haven't done as many. But we will try and get back into doing these at least once a week for the foreseeable time at the minute, and try and get through some of these. Geez, we still have over 200 to do, at least. So it's going to be a very interesting 2026. But if you want to like and subscribe and give it a big thumbs up, if you'd like to share this podcast out, I would be very grateful. If you'd like to donate to the podcast to keep it afloat, you can donate by PayPal or Super Chat. All of it goes back into the channel, helping the podcast, because it does take time, effort, and editing to make all of this. It doesn't just poof out of thin air as much as people think us YouTubers don't do work. I load at least 3 or 4 videos every day across all 4 social medias that I am on. And it is tiring to keep filming and having a presence. As much as people say influencing is easy, content creator, not so much. You have to think of an idea, come up with the idea, edit the video, load the video, and then come up with the next thing. So it's a total merry-go-round of stuff. So if you want to like and subscribe and join me on the next episode of It's Not All Doom and Gloom, this is the Midnight Raven signing off and hoping you have a wonderful evening. And I'll catch up with you very, very soon. Have a wonderful day, guys. Bye from the Raven.